All right, it's 11:15. Kevin, if you're ready, we'll go ahead and get started here. What do you
I am
think?
ready.
All right, great. Well, hello, everyone. I want to introduce myself, and I'm going to start talking about OneAmerica and the early career program that we have at OneAmerica, and some cool projects that we have going on. Then we will get into what types of roles are there within the OneAmerica IT department and that we're hiring for. And to finish out, Kevin is going to talk about what you can do in order to prepare to fill those positions within OneAmerica or anywhere. What we're here to do is to give you a general feel for OneAmerica, but then use this as a template for many other companies because they're a lot alike, and our goal is to help you to understand what's out there and how to prepare to fill those jobs as you are going through your school year, and when you complete, what's the path you can take to get into those positions. So with that, I'm gonna start. My name is Chris Reister. I am a senior director at OneAmerica. I am senior director over quality, delivery, and our early career program. And so I'm going to go into first delivery. What we look at, what my delivery team looks at, is any projects that we have that seem to be in trouble. My team members will be notified, and we'll jump in and try to figure out what the problems are and come up with solutions so we get the project back on track. Our main focus is delivery coming out of our project teams. And that's where my quality team will jump in. And what they're devoted to doing is ensuring that we are testing the items coming out of our teams and producing the quality that we want coming out of those teams. And finally, the early career program, which is where I'm going to spend my focus on here today, because it pertains to you all. So what we call the early career program in OneAmerica, it is anyone with less than 4 years of experience outside of college. Okay, so once you have 4 years of experience, you're no longer considered an early career participant. But right out of college, when you come in, you would definitely be considered an early career program person. So what does the early career program entail? We have three different areas. We have internships, a rotational program, and the early career, which we already spoke about. So let me go into the internship program. The internship program, for those of you that don't know what an internship is, it's an opportunity for you as a student to get a job within OneAmerica on a part-time basis, which means you're working full-time hours, but for a short period of time through the year, usually a summer, right? And what we do is we will put out a job posting on our website underneath the careers section. You can go out and you can search for internship jobs and you can apply for them. We have, well, last year I think we had about 25 internships throughout OneAmerica. This year it's somewhere between 40 and 50. So we're going all in, and we enjoy students coming in and helping us. And it's not one of those jobs where you're just taking out the trash or doing remedial things. What we do at OneAmerica is we ensure that OneAmerica is getting the quality out of it, and so are you. So we really take the time to help you push yourself so that you get the experience that you need and you can make it on to the next level. And so what is that next level? The next level is the rotation program. And what that is we would hire you from the internship program as a full-time person, And if you don't know what department you want to go into in IT, we will rotate you through 3 different jobs for a 6-month period. So in all, it's 18 months. Then at the end of that 18 months, we sit down and figure out, what do you feel is the best fit for you? What do we feel the best fit is for you? And then we put you into that role. Something that is very special, unique to OneAmerica, because not all companies do that. They say whether, if you have the experience to fit a certain department, you're hired. If not, then you're not hired. We look for great individuals, and then we fit you into where the best fit is. Why would you want to hire on to OneAmerica? OneAmerica is a 150-year-old company. We are a financial institution. Typically in financial institutions, there's not a fast pace, but right now what we have is major initiatives going on where we are switching our providers for infrastructure. So we're totally changing our infrastructure and all of the intricacies of it. We're moving items from our internal servers to the cloud. We have an initiative where we're going to redo all of our front-end websites, which is a massive undertaking affecting the entire company. It's from the CEO all the way down to us as individual contributors on the teams. We all have to work together to make that happen. And finally, we are transforming the way that we are working in our department. So processes and the different vendors that we're working with and the contractors that are coming in, we're looking at that, and we're measuring ourselves to say, well, if we're here and we want to be here, let's go ahead and make a plan to get there. So major things going on within OneAmerica, and I'm really excited to be a part of it. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Alvin Wilson, a colleague of mine, and he's going to talk about the different types of positions that we have within the OneAmerica IT department. So go ahead, Alvin, take it over.
Thanks, Chris. Really excited about OneAmerica as a company. I've been at OneAmerica for about a year. My name is Alvin Wilson. I am the Director of Application Development and Support. But I wanted to give you a little bit more information about OneAmerica's IT. So what I really find exciting about OneAmerica is we are functionally aligned. And what that means is that we have functional leaders over different types of skills within an organization. So we have a functional leader for BAs. As Chris said, he's a functional leader for an SQA. I'm the functional leader for developers. And then you'll find a little bit about Kevin. Kevin is our functional leader over API and data integrations and data architects. So what you find coming into OneAmerica is you will really focus on a center of excellence around what your career selection will be. But I mean, so we have different careers, like obviously project management, business analyst, development. Chris talked about SQA. We have database, a lot of different functional roles around database and ETL and get information, data exchange kind of information. But what mine is about is development. And to go into development, I mean, everybody thinks to be one developer, it's one developer fits all sizes and does all things. But what I really like to talk about is the different types of developers that we have within OneAmerica. So to start with, Chris talked about the digital experience that we have here at OneAmerica being pretty much overhauled. And so what you see on that screen and see on our websites, that is what is kind of created and developed by our front-end developers. So the looks, the feels, the styling, the branding, et cetera, that is all kind of developed by a front-end developer. With that, when there's time to execute a task and time to do something, like let's say there's an OK button or submit button on that screen, then it actually flows to a back-end developer to catch that request and do something with it. So let's talk about a back-end developer. I don't know if you guys have heard of languages like Java, .NET. If I could think of other ones, Python. There's a lot of different development languages out there. There are even platform developments such as Salesforce, and uncork and things that are low code, no code type development environments. The backend developer for this type of work, they actually take action. So let's say the front end developer creates a address screen, and you want to submit that screen to the database. The backend developer would grab that information and collect it, do validations on whatever it is, and then place it in a database. The backend developer is really closely aligned to the architecture of how we actually communicate with databases and save information, store information, and even the workflows around with what we do with that information and validate it. So backend developer is our second developer. From there, Kevin is really over our API developers. What I like about APIs is OneAmerica is trying to be reusable in things that we create. So from an API development, we've actually created a front-end screen that accepts the address. We have the back-end developer that adjusts the address. And then an API developer might create an API that says, you know what, let's run this address against the United States Post Office and make sure that this address matches what they have in their address. And great, we matched it. Now let's take the longitude and latitude and let's store that to the database so that across all of our applications, we have the exact same address. I don't know if you guys know about addresses, but addresses, you can say place, you can put PL, you can put boulevard, you can BLVD. This API developer creates a function across all of our applications that everybody reuses to get the same data exchange so that if we exchange data, it's the same from system to system. So an API developer is a really strong developer that we need. Then, the next one would actually move more towards the SQA developer. Chris talked about having the ability to test our applications. And a lot of that SQA is a manual process where someone will actually get in there and they will say, okay, application's ready, done. I've got to put in the address information and hit submit. Does it do what it's supposed to do? And that SQA validates that. Well, this new developer, this SQA developer, he's actually the person that basically writes it so that it's not a physical person doing it. It's actually a bot that goes to the website, puts it in there, validates it, and then gives a yes or no whether it passed that test or not. So the SQA developer is going to help us streamline our development. And then I don't know if you guys realize, Amazon releases feature after feature. All different types of things go to the website that it seems like they turn around in a minute's notice, right? Well, they're using what we call a process that's called DevOps. And what that does is it's a process that's focused on the fast development, speed, quality, and delivery of an application to production. So this DevOps developer is focused on taking something from coding and getting it published to production as fast as it can with automation through a build process, automation through a deployment process. So the DevOps developer is really one of those developers that we're leaning heavily on to kind of do a lot of automated checking, automated testing, automated quality on our code and our systems before it goes to production so that we can actually increase our velocity. We're trying to be as fast as Amazon. We're trying to deliver things quickly. We're trying to we're doing industry best practices. And I guess I got to circle back. I guess I forgot one developer, and it's our architect. Our architect really aligns how we're going to approach applications. So there are a lot of neat things going with OneAmerica. We're adopting all best practices around development. We're getting into scaled agile framework. You can write these kind of terms down. We're getting into DevOps. We're getting into Azure as a tool. We're getting into agile methodology. These words that you're hearing right here, these are the industry practices that we're using within OneAmerica, and it will translate to other organizations. So one thing I like to really close about this is, what I really like about the development lane, the delivery lane of development, is that really, what we're seeing from an industry is get pretty recession proof. And what that means recession proof is it's one of those jobs that we're not really scaling back on. We're figuring out, we're realizing that it's going to be needed for decades to come. So this would be an excellent career path if someone's thinking about becoming a developer. So with that, I'm going to pass it to Kevin Sims, and he's going to talk about ways that things that you're going to find good about OneAmerica and the passions around that. So,
thank you, Alvin. Appreciate that.
oh, mute's on.
Again, my name is Kevin Sims, and I'm a director of data delivery at OneAmerica. I'm responsible for two teams, actually. I'm responsible for the area data architects and the system integration architects. The area data architects are responsible.
Hey, Kevin?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear him, Alvin.
Can you hear him? Good. I can't hear him now.
Okay. Very good. So I'm good, Chris?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, cool. The area data architects are responsible for modeling data and ensuring that the data is delivered to developers that need the data. They're responsible for making sure that data is delivered to other application areas that need the data, and in some instances to that end user. So that's where their data delivery aspect comes from. On the system integration side, as Alvin alluded to before, those are my API developers, and they're responsible for ensuring that data gets from one application to another to extend or enhance the functionality of that application, right? So we got data going to other areas as well as data going to other applications. So that pretty much encompasses my two data delivery teams. I'm going to talk to you about, some things that you can think about, some things that you can do to prepare yourself for a career in IT. Now, mind you, some of these things, maybe a lot of them you've already heard before. And you may already be practicing, especially if you belong to an organization like Nextech. I'm sure that some of the things that I may be saying, you may have heard before, but I'm going to say them anyway because I think that they're important. And they're things that have either worked for me or worked for people that have reported to me or people that I know. The first thing is, when considering a career in IT, is find your interest. Find your passion. Look at the things around you, and passion and interest can be motivated from a number of things. I mean, that app on your phone that you really like, or that game that piqued your interest, or that VR experience that was amazing to you. All those things are driven by technology in some way, shape, or form. And delve into it. If it's something that interests you, delve into it, pursue it, seek it out, and try to find out more about it. That's point number one, finding your interest and passion. Number two, look for opportunities to gain exposure and experience in that thing that you're passionate about, right? Research and learn about companies that are doing those things. And then what type of culture do those companies have, right? Are they receptive to bringing in interns, as Chris mentioned earlier? Is there an early onboarding process for high school and college students, right? You want to make sure that you're setting yourself up to try to gain as much experience as early on as possible. And not just the same type of experience, but a breadth of experience, right? Experience in different areas. So look for opportunities like that. And then leverage social media. The one thing that you guys have available to you that I didn't have when I was coming up through the IT ranks is social media and special interest groups and all kinds of access available to you. Seek those out. Join some groups, right? You may find that by joining a special interest group or a LinkedIn group that you may connect with someone that has the experience in an area that you want to pursue. So don't wait until you get into a professional career or a professional role before you start leveraging social media and joining some of these groups. Some of them will allow you to join even if you're not working in the area. Now, having said all that, I want to also caution about locking in too early, right? A lot of you guys I think you guys are in high school, so you have a whole level of education that you need to go through and a whole level of experiences that you're in the process of gaining. So while some of you may know right now exactly what you want to do and how you want to get there, I got to think that a lot of you don't. So don't lock in too early. Take in as much as you possibly can. And even after you found that what's considered to be that ideal opportunity, don't close yourself off to hearing about other things, right? Because again, there may be something out there that you hear or something that someone shares with you that could alter your view or your direction and pique an interest in something that you didn't even think about. The next thing, as you enter into your next level of education, broaden your studies. Don't just take IT or computer science related classes. look at taking a lot of other things that, again, will pique your creativity and perhaps spark your passion. Take as many diverse classes as your schedule will allow. Again, as I said at the onset, exposure is the key. And who knows where your inspiration will come from. But one thing is for sure, if you expose yourself to a variety of things, chances are you may be inspired by something that you didn't even think about. Look for companies that expose you to different areas and technology. And that's really where, and this is where I want to really double click on something that Chris mentioned earlier. OneAmerica is one of the few companies that allows people to come in and explore a variety of areas without locking into anything. Basically, our goal is to try to help you find where your passions are. And we do that by exposing you to a number of areas. And then we leave it up to you to make the decision, right? Look for but we're not unique in that. There are other companies out there that do that exact same thing. So try to find companies that will allow you to come in and sort of navigate the landscape and expose yourself to different things. And if a company doesn't have it, don't be afraid to ask for it, right? Sometimes you'd be surprised at what you get by simply just asking for it. So always keep that in the back of your mind. Also, you need to know what you want out of a role or a company once you start pursuing your IT career. Know what you want to get out. You know what you bring to the table. Know what you want to get out of that company or that role. Talk to others in that company, and share, what your passions are, what your interests are. Share within your trust circle, right? I think by opening up and sharing what you want, you get you provide yourself an opportunity to get that input. And again, that input could be that thing that sparks a particular interest or heads you down a specific path. Be willing to compromise, but not settle. Again, one of the things that you find as you embark on your journey is that things aren't going to always go as planned. And that's like most things, right? We may plan and plan and plan, and then we start executing, and then all of a sudden things just don't go like we thought they were. And sometimes you may have to compromise as a result of that, and that's okay. Here's the key. Don't lose sight of your goals. And remember, the difference between compromising and settling is you. Embracing change. The sooner you get comfortable with the phrase that the only constant is change, especially as it applies to IT, the better you're going to be able to navigate the technology space. The one thing that the three of us can tell you over and over again is that change is inevitable, and it's going to always continue to happen. But that's okay, because you'll find that those of you that are drawn toward technology embrace that change. And it's that change requires drives your thirst and drives your desire to learn more and to do more. So again, don't veer away from it, because it's going to happen. So you might as well embrace it. And the sooner you learn that, the better you're going to be. And then finally, enjoy the ride. Technology is all around us. It's embedded in just about everything that we do on a day-to-day basis. My goal, and hopefully what you get out of belonging to organizations like Next Tech, is that you find your passion and that passion rewards you. That's the end of my speech. We're going to open it up to questions, and I think we've got 3 questions out there.
Yes, right. We do. Thank you, Kevin and Alvin. That was very, very good and inspirational. Definitely hit on a lot of things there, Kevin. I'm going to. I answered a couple of questions in the chat, and the third one, I'm going to let Alvin answer. So let me first answer the first 2. Do we have locations closer to northern Indiana? Could we take a field trip? Indianapolis is the closest, and can you take a field trip? Yes. Jill has actually brought a group of individuals to our location, and we had a great time. So definitely look for those types of events. Another question was college or certification or both. I would recommend both. I do know people that did not get a college degree that were able to get into IT, so it's not a hard and fast rule. But there's a lot more doors that are opened for you if you do have that college degree, and so you might as well open all the doors so that you're in the driver's seat saying no instead of giving someone else an option to say no.
Can I chime in on that?
Yeah, please, Kevin.
One other thing that you may want to think about is everybody may not be suited for the traditional method of college, right? There are other avenues that you can pursue in terms of getting your education. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with working as you get your education, right? As a matter of fact, as you know, there's some companies out there that will even pay you or pay for your education. So, but again, it comes with experience. You got to make sure that you're taking steps towards gaining that experience so that you can get through the door if you don't have that college degree or that certification, right? You can always get those two things, but you got to have the experience in order to get to the door to help facilitate getting those things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, on top of that, some businesses are out there that they say if you don't have a college degree, you're not going to be hired. So that there are some companies out there that also say that. And pay is sometimes commensurate with, do you have a college education or not? Now, to Kevin's point, college education, they could equate some other type of training to the same level of college education. So when we say college, we mean more education than the word college, okay? And education comes in many forms. Certifications are definitely something to get. It will head you up higher and above others that are at your same level, because when you graduate, if you've done nothing other than take classes, then you probably have about 5,000 other people that took those same classes across the state. Now, if you have certifications and you have internships on top of it, now you have experience and proven knowledge that will give you the little hedge over the others. Yeah. Alvin, the next question was, what is used more, AWS, Azure, or GCP?
I really don't think they're really all neck and neck with each other. There's not a definitive one that use more. In most cases, you'll find a company will be using one or more of them, or actually two or more of them, and to deliver a service based on what the service is. So education really heavily in the GCP Google Cloud Platform. But here at OneAmerica, I believe we're using AWS and Azure.
We are.
So I mean, it really doesn't matter the cloud. As a person that who has a good understanding of one cloud or another, it will give you a leg up in saying that it does translate. Could translate to AWS? It could translate to Azure. So I think it's there's a strong reason to go with Azure because Microsoft seems to almost take over the world. But with that being the case, Google is fighting very hard, and AWS is just a data center powerhouse. So where do you want to be? Do research on all three platforms. There's a reason for each one.
And one thing that you can guarantee is that's the fact that cloud-based environments are going to be around for quite some time. So if you get an interest in that, if you have an interest in that, I would say pursue it, because chances are you will probably be able to get a job once you gain some experience and get some education.
And just one final note I want to add, as you look at our various backgrounds, obviously IT affords you the opportunity to work remote. It's been, since the pandemic has hit, it's really been a very easy transition for our teams to kind of move to a remote workplace. When you talk about, hey, do we want to do can we do a visit to someone? Well, we could pretty much set up a virtual visit to our organization and do something right from your classroom, I think. I mean, just with the technology that we have today.
Yes, we can do that internationally even. And I have done that in the past. So that's an excellent point. I do want to bring up the topic of hybrid work. You kind of touched on that, Alvin. So in IT, you have the ability, depending on positions, as long as you're not touching something physically, you can work from anywhere in the world. So you, when entering into IT departments these days, you will be working with the most diverse group that you could ever work with. We have teams from all over the world, from all different time zones, from all different walks of life, onshore, offshore, near shore, you name it. We deal with it and the complexities that come along with it. I'm the type of person that I love challenges, and so I like working in that type of environment. But that is a factor to consider as well, because since the pandemic hit, it has changed most all businesses and the way that we function, and a lot of people are able to work from home. Now, what does work from home do for someone that's new in their career? While it sounds cool to work from home, and it is cool, trust me, but you also have to make a concerted effort to reach out to people inside your group and outside of your group within the company you're working in, to get to know them, to get to know what they do, and have them get to know you. Because how you make it throughout your career and throughout your profession is by others also vouching for you, backing you up, knowing who you are, and someone to mentor you, and for someone you can lean on. And it needs to be more than just HR and your boss. So really make a concerted effort in this environment to meet a lot of people. I still do it. I've been in my career for, man, I'm going to age myself, but probably over 25 years now. And I still reach out to people whenever I see someone new in the office. I extend my hand and introduce myself, or if they're new online, I reach out to them, set up a meeting so that we can get to know one another. But it's extremely important for you all to do that early in your career. We have 4 minutes left in our session or less. So Alvin, Kevin, I'm going to hand it over to you to mention anything. And if anyone has any questions, please ask. But, what did it take for you to get in when you first started?
It took me, I always had an interest in technology, right? So I got an early start right out of high school. And then I was one of those that chose the path of starting to work and then going to college and doing both at the same time. And one of the things that, and again, as I said during my presentation, I was using real world examples and how I got into IT, or how I spoke about getting into IT, is something that I actually went through. I was exposed to a lot of different things. I was fortunate enough to be exposed to a lot of different things. Started off as end user support. Then I went to network administration, system administration, database administration. So I had a lot of things that I was exposed to, and I just latched on to database administration, which ultimately led me to data. So that was my journey, right? I was just fortunate enough to land in to get the right opportunity, and I took advantage of it. Alan?
Yeah, so when I started college, I didn't exactly know where I wanted to land. So I took the general education courses and landed on a computer science course, and really just kind of said, hey, this seems like it. Then I took a co-op, which, for college, I literally took 1 year off and interned with the Department of Energy. And they introduced me, much in the same way OA does, to a lot of different departments with IT. I was locked in at that point. What was excellent is with that co-op, I didn't just have my degree, I had real world experience. I was walking in there into interviews saying I can do this, this, and this. I've done this. And I tell you, I mean, it was definitely some momentum that I had leaving school and going to find a job. So definitely recommend that when you go to school that you seek opportunities of real world experience. If you don't, you're just going to be a resume, and it's going to be an opportunity that you're going to be fighting with someone that does have real world experience. And I think you're going to definitely need that to be competitive in this world's environment. So
thank you, gentlemen. We are out of time, and so I'm going to go ahead and say thank you for Next Tech on behalf of OneAmerica for giving us this opportunity to speak. Thank you to Kevin and Alvin for speaking on behalf of OneAmerica. This has been really exciting for us, and we look forward to other sessions in the future. Have a great weekend, and I hope you fare well, and I hope to see you in the future.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.